join, they'll just join. So what is up, everybody? Welcome to the community call. Thanks for taking the time to hang out with us on this Friday. We have a bunch of stuff to go over, so hopefully they will get in by the time we get to anything important. So in the meantime, I'll just kind of go over what's been going on in governance because we have a little bit to touch on. Looks like Funky is in the chat, but I want to get him back in here for this particular proposal. So one proposal just went live. It's the proposal about the Dinero fees for RL Butterfly. I'll kind of give the TLDR, and then maybe if Funky can get back in here, he can dive into it in a little more detail. There's Sammy. But basically, this proposal suggests that we allocate 100% of Dinero Protocol revenue after deducting operational costs like node operation, gas, Oracle operation, etc. We take 100% of that revenue and then allocate it to the redacted treasury, RL Butterfly holders, and DAO reserves. So go ahead, Funky. Now that you're here, you can take the reins on that.
Sorry about that. So basically, last year, when we launched RL Butterfly, there was a proposal which basically set out how product revenue from Hidden Hand and Pirex would be split. The split between Hidden Hand and Pirex is slightly different. On Pirex, 25% of product revenue goes to continuing developing Pirex. And then there's a split, I think 42.5% goes to the treasury, 42.5% goes to RL Butterfly, and then the remainder goes to the DAO reserves. Because of the budget proposal, since the first budget proposal, the DAO reserves amount has been going to the RL Butterfly holders. The Dinero protocol is kind of broadly being built using Pirex technology, kind of why Pirex ETH is called Pirex ETH. But given that the Dinero protocol is kind of a special product that we're launching, biggest project we've ever launched, this proposal basically sets out kind of two differences to the Pirex split. First of all, is that 100% of the revenue is to be distributed using the same split. And the second thing is that net revenue instead of gross revenue would be distributed. So basically, the fee revenue less various ongoing operational costs, which include like node operational costs, the cost of like running instances for each of the nodes, gas costs for like distribution of ETH rewards on PX ETH rewards on APX ETH, things like that. So in order to kind of make sure that the DAO doesn't go bankrupt by not covering its costs, the proposal is that net revenue be distributed instead of gross revenue. And that's kind of the two main changes to the two adjustments for Dinero fee distribution compared to the general Pirex fee distribution.
Yeah, and one of the things that you just kind of mentioned there at the end is that this proposal highlights some of the unique operating costs that are associated with the rest of the Dinero system. I don't know if you want to talk about that a little bit, Never, how like Dinero as a whole kind of requires a lot more resources than like some of the other products that we built in the past.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the products we built in the past have primarily had just one large cost. I mean, in terms of like we might have to have like an alchemy subscription plan or whatever, but that's pretty cheap. But it was mainly gas, especially like Hidden Hand, since like with the upkeep of all the markets. So it's just mainly maintenance gas costs. But with PXE comes a bit more. So you just have like kind of running the machines, the distributed machines, especially when you reach in the 10, 20, 30,000 or like thousands of validators, it gets kind of hefty. Also, yeah, and we're also like supporting like big APIs, so like basically so that like real-time data on all of our validators for all the users to see. So we need to have like a lot of data throughput there. So yeah, it's just a bit higher OPEX. So it just made sense to just put net, as any normal business, just put net revenue, net profits to the DAO.
Cool. So if there's any questions about that, feel free to ask, but we'll kind of get through the rest of the governance ones, and then we'll circle back in case anybody has questions about that particular proposal. I think it'll go on Snapshot probably in the next couple of days, I guess. Cool. And I know I think we talked about deploying Marionette for Athena on the last call. I don't really remember, but in case we didn't, let me grab the link for this. So
Yeah, I think the Athena proposal went up earlier this week.
okay, so we probably didn't cover it then. So in case you missed it, then here's the proposal for that. So since the original Marionette proposal, which was the proposal to build it, which was really focused on velodrome and aerodrome, we have since reconsidered where we wanted to launch Marionette first. And the idea here is to launch it somewhere that is more competitive. You know, I think Athena represents a little bit of a greener opportunity. There's also less competition in terms of infrastructure there. So it also kind of aligns with the timing with PancakeSwap being around the corner. So we can kind of double dip on the Binance chain expansion. So I recommend checking that out. I think not only did the proposal go to Snapshot, I think it already passed on Snapshot. So thanks to everybody who voted there. But the idea is pretty soon here we're gonna deploy Marionette for Athena. And yeah, I don't know. Is there anything else we want to touch on? Oh yeah, I guess we got one question about like the type of fees that Marionette takes. So one thing I guess we want to be really clear on is that Marionette's main goal is not necessarily to generate fees. It's to generate sort of voting power for Redacted, right? So like Marionette's whole idea is that it taxes 10% of the total voting power that's allocated to it. And so we'll actually be able to leverage that voting power however, the DAO kind of sees fit. And so that's the main goal of Marionette. So if you don't see a reference to fees in that particular proposal, that's why. But also one of the other things you can assume is that if we outline fees in the sort of main proposal, so the main Marionette proposal, those fees will carry over to any partner that integrates anything else we build. So whether that's on Hidden Hand or Marionette or whatever else. So just keep that in mind. Even though the Athena proposal didn't specify that, it just follows the same structure as the original Marionette proposal. Any questions there? Or anything I missed that people want to touch on up here? Cool. I guess. Yeah, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, sound good.
In terms of expansion for it, we're gonna start out with Dina and see how it goes, sort of like test in production with that. And then some people were asking like where we'll go to next. We got connected with a few protocols, exploring options, but we'll put it in front of the DAO. But I think like the idea is to like get it live with Dina is kind of like a alpha or beta build almost, if you will, and then see how that goes and develops.
Yeah, good shout. And I just shared Verilog shared their audit report for Marionette. So I don't know if anybody here is particularly interested, but it has been audited. So if you're looking for some weekend reading, I guess you could check out the audit report. But other than that, you can just feel comfy knowing that it's been audited like everything else that we built. So anyways, we'll see how it goes. I think we'll be deploying that relatively soon, and then we'll just see how it performs. And like always, if you guys see opportunities where Marionette could be interesting, elsewhere in the space, just let us know. Next on the governance front, the proposal to pass PancakeSwap, or the proposal to launch the PancakeSwap Hidden Hand market passed. This is pretty exciting. I think this is going to be our first expansion into the Binance ecosystem, and it's with one of the biggest projects in or on that chain. So good to know. And yeah, I mean, I'm pretty excited for this one. I think anytime we can expand to a new chain and we can partner with some of the biggest projects on that chain, it's kind of a good look for us. It's a good brand building exercise for the products we launch. So I think the idea, and one of the questions we had before the call is like the ETA on when we're going to launch it. As of right now, I think early next week is the target. We will let you know if anything changes, but as far as like the technical side and everything like that, we're ready to go. It's just a matter of making sure PancakeSwap is ready and a couple other things are ready before we actually, press the green button. So in a good spot there. Anything we want to add before moving on? Cool. Ark asked, will Marionette always be for voting power only? So the primary, revenue source probably isn't the right answer, or right word, but I'm going to use it just for the sake of this answer. The primary goal of Marionette is to get that 10% of voting power, but there is an auto compounder sort of feature that charges fees more directly. So it's kind of a mix of both, but Marionette's primary goal is always going to be to get the voting power. And part of that, if I'm not mistaken, is due to the design. So people aren't actually giving us like custody of their assets. So it's kind of hard to charge fees. Is that correct, Never?
Yeah. It's another feature on top of Hidden Hand. I just like kind of generally try making it sticky, better UX for all token holders, especially like the external protocols. So it becomes like another feature that makes Hidden Hand kind of a no-brainer. So it implicitly like improves the stickiness of all voters in a Hidden Hand market, and then the 10% fee we take is then just like a boost to our whole like other external than Hidden Hand like products, like PXE, Dinero, whatever. Just boosts liquidity without taking like it's a fee, but it's not like a principal fee, so people feel it less, and it's easier to stomach. Because of course, we need to make economic sense. So it's kind of the same effect because we don't spend as much incentives, let's say, on one ecosystem, and it's already subsidized already. So in that effect, it'll reduce spending, at least reduce spending, and then also make it sticky, make it hand more sticky.
Cool. Bispecs asked, wondering what the response/reaction was of the PancakeSwap team to our product. Yeah, I mean they're pretty excited. We're actually working really closely with the PancakeSwap team, so this isn't something that we decided to build and launch in a vacuum. This is something we did as part of discussions. Go ahead, Sammy.
This was proposed to us by them, actually, right? Like, so we got connected to them via what we were going to do with Butter. And when Butter didn't work out, they sort of came to us direct asking for us to build it.
Yeah, so I assume they like it considering the way in which it came about. So we're working closely with them. We're also coordinating with them on the announcement. They're going to be supporting the go live and stuff like that. So yeah, all good there. Narek asks, is Marionette only for VE33 or any VE token?
It's pretty composable. Our main guy who was building it, Rafa, built it in a very composable manner where the first one is built for VE, so it becomes the VE33 whatever token, so it's a copy based for like all of them. So like we can scale horizontally very easily there, but it's adaptive pattern, so you can we can basically wrap any type of voting system as long as it's on chain. Yeah.
Cool. All right, so that covers PancakeSwap. Let's see. Okay, and one that got posted this morning. So I don't know if any of you saw it. I know Figgy just spun up the sort of forum discussion here within the Discord, but VaultCraft posted an RFF to launch a hidden hand market for their product, which is a protocol that allows users to create these like smart vaults, which are designed for optimized yield generation across like different DeFi strategies. So I recommend checking it out, learn about what VaultCraft is, see if Hidden Hand would be interesting. I think it is probably a good fit for them. So I think we'll move it to Snapshot over the next few days. But I don't know if anybody up here is a little bit closer to the VaultCraft team and has any additional insights to share.
Yeah, another group that came to us originally on the premise of Pyrex, but as that starts to get built out, like an easy win is obviously Hidden Hand for their token that they're launching soon. So no real risk on our end. Pretty straightforward integration. People want it, people get it.
Dope. Easy enough. So that rounds out all of the governance stuff. However, we will probably have a few more proposals hitting the forum within the next week or so. Keep an eye out for those. Moving on. So Prisma launched, or we launched the Prisma market on Hidden Hand yesterday officially. And today, I believe it was today, sometime this morning, they announced that Lido will be bribing. It looks like they have around 8.7 wrap staked ETH in bribes ready for VE Prisma holders. Here is the tweet for anybody who wants to generate some buzz around that. But in my opinion, that's a pretty good signal. Sometimes when we launch these new markets, they're a little slow to get started, but I think Prisma had some pent up demand on the sideline for bribes, not only through Hidden Hand, but through the Vodium market as well. So the sooner that kicks off, the better. Protocols can figure out what the best sort of strategy and dynamic is for bribing the Prisma, and then we will go to there. Yeah, Funky, do you want to give a really quick, Sammy, hold on. I think we have to shout out Papa for Marionette. So Funky, I don't know if there was a specific shout out you wanted to give, but
No, I was just saying, yeah,
okay.
a lot of hard work into Marionette, and Rafa's done a great job. Rafa and Karn, to shout out to them.
Okay, cool. All right, Sammy, back to
Sorry
you
for
and
the
Prisma.
disrupting the flow.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
The only thing I was going to add is that there's actually two bribes on Prisma right now. There's a $5,000 bribe. Let me check.
Oh
Our
shit.
favorite Discord got it. Yeah, there's like around a $6,000 bribe of Prisma also live on the Prisma market. And it looks like the stat one is coming in batches. So yeah.
Dope. So yeah, anyway, good to see. We love when new bribe market launches and there's already demand for that. I assume that's going to continue to be the case over the next several months as protocols figure out what the sort of best strategy is. So if there's any questions about that, just let us know. And then another announcement we did this week was that Mory Finance supports PXETH. Obviously, this is a testnet integration for the time being, but I think they will be ready to go for mainnet. I tried looking into Mory. I don't think my brain's like big enough to really understand what it is that they offer. Is anybody up here familiar with what they're building? Because I don't remember who kind of led that integration, but
That was Terrence. Do you want to tackle it?
Terrence, are you smart enough to explain what the fuck this is?
I don't think you can talk.
Oh, rip. Well, you know what? It's all right. If not, just read the docs and people can decide. Yeah, Terrence, we're not hearing you when you unmute, so GG's. Anyways, they're silencing me. Yeah, the feds are silencing Terrence. Too much alpha. So, yeah, either way, we're excited that teams are already starting to integrate pre-mainnet. That's honestly something that is pretty rare. I know the BD team's been working really hard to try to make sure that we have a lot of integrations ready to go in and around sort of mainnet launch. So the more we can have ready to go, the better. I think ultimately like a big deciding factor for the success of an LST is how many integrations it has and how widespread it is throughout the space. So the more we have, the better, and especially the more that people can do with PXE, the better. And yeah, Terrence just dropped a short message on what Mory is, so you all can read it. I'm not going to read it. And that should be it for governance and big announcements. So we can kind of move on to questions and updates and stuff like that. So I will run through some of the questions I collected for before the call, and then if anybody has any other questions, feel free to drop them, and then from there we'll go through updates. So first question we got was ETA on Cake Hidden Hand Market. I already kind of covered that one later, but just to say something again, the goal is to get it out early next week. Monday would be ideal, but can't guarantee that. So early next week, PancakeSwap should be going live on Hidden Hand. Then ETA on the Lodestar market. That one I'm not super sure. I'm guessing that we're probably soon to being ready to go on the tech side. It's always just a matter of coordinating when the other team wants to launch it. As far as I remember, Lodestar kind of wanted to go live with this near the 11th, so a couple weeks from now. So just keep an eye out for that. As we get closer, I'll be able to confirm the go live a little bit better. But I think the 11th was what we were working towards. Next question I had was when merch. Okay, I guess I can talk about this. So merch has been on the back of my mind as we prepare for the Pirex ETH launch, but everybody started spamming the Discord every day until I confirmed whether or not merch was going to happen. So I decided that we'll do merch in January of 2024, and we'll do a double drop. So we'll do a t-shirt and a hoodie, because I know people have been asking about hoodies. T-shirts are just easier to do. Hoodies are harder to source like really good material for. So I'll be working on that. We already had some designs kind of in the vault, so we're going to touch those up, get them ready, and then figure out how we want to distribute them. Outside of merch, we have something else that's pretty fucking cool that we are working on. I'm not going to say what it is, but it'll be cool when it's ready. I think the hardest part about that one is going to be figuring out the production. It's cooler than socks. It's cooler than a shirt. It's just a cool thing, and I think it was Sammy's idea. So we'll figure out, what the timeline for that looks like. We also, I think we're gonna try. I don't know. I might be fucking making stuff up at this point, but I think we're gonna try like a cooler distribution method for it too. I've been wanting to do something like Unisocks style, where it has that like, rarity factor. It has a little bit of a pricing curve. Obviously, we'll adjust the pricing curve so it's not a $15,000 item. I think that's stupid, but we'll figure it out. I don't know. Sammy will probably end up leaking what it is whenever we actually get closer to making it a reality anyways. Let's see. Do we have any other questions?
No. Are you talking about the merch?
No, not the merch. The other thing.
Related to the merch.
Yeah, it's related to the merch.
Oh yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah, we just don't have a solid idea on like how we're gonna distribute it yet or produce it or anything like that. So once we get closer to the finish line there, we'll release some details. Yeah, Sammy body pillow with his real face on it. We're gonna make 5 of them, and I don't know. I feel like the 5 people that get them have to. No, we're gonna put 10 people in a ring. They fight to the death, and then the 5 people who are the last one standing, they get the Sammy body pillow. All right, here we go. Here's a real question from Joker Frog. Pirex ETH on mainnet. What is remaining to be completed before it can be launched? Never want to give that update.
Yeah, we just pushed up the fixes, so it's gonna get reviewed again. That we didn't add any more. Our fixes doesn't add any more bugs, and then we're good to go.
Sick.
So yeah.
Sounds soon, TM. Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I think somebody on a Twitter Spaces inadvertently leaked a timeline, and that timeline is looking good. So all anybody needs to know. And actually, you know, while we're waiting for anybody else to ask questions, one thing that came up earlier this week was some complaints about how APX Butterfly and PX Butterfly is set up. Funky, do you want to explain why we kind of set up the Butterfly Pirex vaults the way we did?
Can't see that. What was the complaint?
The complaint was that, hold on, I'll dig it up and read it to you. I'll be the complainer. It's way too complex, though. Now that I'm a Butterfly investor, it should be simpler. Get rid of withdrawal fees. 1 click for APX Butterfly for either deposit or withdraw. 1 click to stake. 1 click to unstake. No fees. Completely liquid. The current system for Butterfly is archaic, in my opinion.
Oh,
Thoughts?
okay. I mean, the whole point about our Butterfly is that it's supposed to be locked for 16 weeks. And the reason why it's locked for 16 weeks and you can't unstake, you can't unlock, you can't transfer it, is that our Butterfly and the revenue share and the Butterfly incentives that go to our Butterfly are meant to kind of incentivize or reward people who are long-term aligned with the protocol. Yes, there has been like a PX Butterfly, which I guess is an extension of like UCVX or APX GMX. But those aren't that liquid. They're mainly just our quality of life or like auto compounding of rewards. So yes, it is more complex, but the whole idea there is to make it a bit harder because you know people are locked for long-term aligned. So you know our system is different than simple staking or stuff like that. But that's kind of the point because otherwise everybody would be staking. But the whole idea is to reward people who have the skin of the game and conviction. So SOS.
Yeah. Well, it's archaic, so you need to fix it. Let's see. We got I'm just joking. We got a couple of more questions. I'll kind of get through. So to get more PXE, can we use own Butterfly as incentive? Sorry if it's dumb. There's no dumb questions. Unless Joker Frog asked them, then they're a dumb question. Just kidding. But I think okay. So yeah. So one thing about the Butterfly that's supposed to go to ohm, we got all of that back. So yeah. I don't.
There's a tiny bit left that we will be receiving soon. That's like the last part of the deal, but yeah, otherwise it's done. They have invested in the last 4 months, I think. So
yeah, so we almost got all of it back. There's one more. We're on the home stretch, but yeah, so no more Butterfly is going to go to Olympus. There's a proposal somewhere in the forum. I don't know, Figgy, if you have the quick fingers, maybe you could dig it up and share it for this person. But yeah, so we don't have to worry about that anymore. We made sure to get that back. Joker Frog asked, is the Butterfly ETH pool operational on Curve after the liquidity was removed to UniV3 earlier this week, or will it be removed permanently? How much financial gain is expected from the change? So yeah, that's a good point, Funky. I guess we should cover the liquidity migration, what we were thinking, and all the rest.
So the Curve pool still exists. All the POL have been removed. That's like about 4.5 million of POL. There's still a tiny bit of liquidity on there because external users have deposited. The Curve pool will always exist just because you can't close Curve pools until they're launched. But I guess to give a timeline, we initially had the majority of the principal liquidity venue on Curve, a secondary Butterfly home venue on Balancer. The Balancer pool was kind of closed down in relation to the ohm vesting stopping proposal. And we began some kind of discussions with the Rackus, which for those who don't know is a liquidity management solution for UniV3. And we had about like 250K of liquidity there. And what the kind of Arrakis vault does is based on different parameters, the vault will be automatically managed to kind of optimize for different goals. The goal that we're optimizing for is volume and liquidity. There are kind of other parameters there, but the main goal of POL is just to provide liquidity. Over the past, since we seeded the Arrakis pool, we've been watching on the new dashboard and through conversations with the Arrakis team how the pool has been doing. I'll link up the kind of June dashboard, which sets out like the performance of the Arrakis pool. It's very cool. You can see composition, the fees that it's made, the volume, etc. The kind of headline thing is that the Arrakis pool, which is like 1/10 the size of the Curve pool, was doing around like half of our total volume. And that's maybe due to a few reasons. The first is that Curve and previously Balancer are kind of less friendly venues for new users. Curve doesn't route through all of the aggregators. I know it routes through like Matcha and 1inch, but for new users, the first place that they'll typically go is Uniswap, maybe SushiSwap. So that has been more popular. Also with Unity 3 model and the kind of managed ranges, there's deeper liquidity at certain price points. So it helps attract more liquidity as there's less slippage, which is kind of something. One of the aims of having larger liquidity there is to just provide better executions for users. That was the kind of the reasoning to move to Arrakis, is that without having to increase the nominal amount of liquidity, we can deepen liquidity at certain ranges and provide better execution. I think currently the Arrakis vault has deployed half the liquidity to Uni, so there's like 2.5 million there. But that should be fully deployed soon. And one thing we're also looking at is that the current feeds here for the Butterfly ETH Uni pool is 1%. We'll be deploying an update to the Arrakis vault so that it's at the lower fee tiers to provide more consistent execution. So the TLDR is basically deeper liquidity and more efficient use of the POL.
Dope. So Joker Frog, was that what you were looking for? Cool. And then does CowSwap route through the Curve pool? I thought it did.
Yeah, it did. It did. Another thing about Curve was that there was a lot of smaller users, and you guys know that we're trying to figure out where best to have Butterfly liquidity on the L2. But a lot of the time, the reasons that the volume would flow through Uniswap was obviously execution with the concentrated liquidity, but also because gas fees on Uniswap were significantly lower. One, because like a lot of people just have approvals for ETH and for WETH and stuff on Uniswap stables, and then the other is because gas fees on Uniswap are significantly lower, almost like 2 to 3 times lower. So Uniswap is just a bit more friendly, to people coming in.
Yeah, and one thing I saw, I don't know if it was probably like 1 or 2 people mentioned, but I just want to be clear about our stance here. This is like not a knock on Curve or the Curve ecosystem, and we're not like bailing on Curve or the Curve ecosystem. This is about finding the best place for Butterfly liquidity based on the like opportunities available to us.
Yeah, totally. And I think it goes without saying, like the Curve pool for PXE will be the deepest pool for PXE, right? Just based on our involvement in that ecosystem. But I think for I think for pegged assets, Curve makes a lot of sense for the yield, for a bunch of different factors. But for a volatile asset like ours, I think the Arrakis solution that we have in front of us is like much more optimal in terms of making the most of every token that we have in liquidity and making it as easy as possible for people to come on in, right? And just that that fragmentation between Uniswap and Curve was just pointless, right? It was the same issue we had with the Balancer OMLP, right? Like just having 3 different LPs on the same chain for one token is so pointless, right? Having it all aggregated into one place, and then now you don't even need an aggregator, so you don't face the extra fees there, nor does it have to split your transaction apart into multiple dexes or anything. Just makes more sense for it to all live in one place, and Uniswap is like proven to be a better place just due to the volatility of Butterfly.
Yeah. Funky, were you gonna add something, or you just okay?
Yeah, I forgot to mute.
Okay. One more question we have. Will there be redacted ETH validator software where I can deposit ETH plus Butterfly just like Rocket Pool and RPL and use the Butterfly RPC?
Did we do Stripe's question above that?
Fuck, I don't know. What was the question? You asked it. Oh shit, no, I missed that one. I missed that one. Yeah, let's do that one. I'll ask. So when PXETH goes live, will we start with just incentivizing on Curve or other locations as well? Is the plan to slowly increase emission direction to PXETH pools as TVL grows?
I can take this one. So the answer is yes, we'll go on Curve. We have a lot of, well, we'll go on Curve, we'll go on many other venues. We have a lot of governance power in the treasury already, which means that we can incentivize significant liquidity without having to use, to spend other tokens. The caveat with Curve and Balancer or even Bunny is that they require gauges to be set up, and this requires a governance process. And we can apply for the gauge once our pool is live. So we have we've done all the prep, we know all the parameters, we've been talking to Curve, Balancer, etc. about the pools we want to set up, but there still remains a governance process that makes sense for their communities, their governance processes to look at the safety of PXETH and to analyze at a higher level whether they want to approve the gauges. We think that the gauge approval process will be straightforward, but however it will take time. Curve has a week-long voting, and then it takes a next round for the gauge to be implemented. Then you have to sync with the same VLC GX voting schedule, so that takes time. So the short answer is we'll be on multiple venues, incentivize liquidity in multiple places, and we'll be doing it all at once. Instead of scaling it up, we'll just be putting it there, and the aim is to drive as much TVL as quickly as possible. Because if the yield is there, people will come. Then long term, the expectation is that the yields will normalize similar to kind of what you see rolling for Frax ETH or Wrap Stake ETH, those kind of things. I'm sure a lot of you guys remember when Frax ETH launched, and everybody was talking about the yields that you could get, and how it's significantly higher than the normal LSD yields. And I think that's a good marketing tool for us to attract people to the chain. So sorry, not the chain, to the product.
Chill. Everybody ignore what he just said at the end of that. Okay, so Stripe, did that answer your question? I think we're good there. So we'll circle back to the virtual world question. So will there be redacted ETH validator software where I can deposit ETH and Butterfly just like Rocket Pool and use the Butterfly RPC?
Let me see this comment.
Let me.
Did
you find it?
No, can you link it?
Yeah. Here.
Okay, will there be a redacted ETH validator software? Yes, soon, TM though. Yeah, this is the goal. Over the next year, basically do that. Right now, we just need stability, especially having at least like a ton of internal validators that are very stable. So like once we go distributed, at least we will, I don't know, have a huge say into what each validator does in a distributed manner. So yeah, and more battle tested, but it's not a big change from what we have now. But we just want to see stability and proof first, and then we can spread. You can do that and run your own Dinero validator at home.
Bro, I'm so fucking mad that BuySpecs, you waited until we're like at the end of the community call to tell me that I spelled redacted wrong on the Discord event. Jesus. I am retarded, officially. So do with that information what you will. I can't believe that.
You are the joke for this week. You are the joke.
Yeah, I am the joke. That is embarrassing. So it's almost as embarrassing as the time I accidentally, whenever we did I think it was the Pirex GMX announcement, and I put grapes instead of blueberries because for whatever reason, my computer didn't have the blueberry emoji. So I just put fucking grapes, thinking nobody would notice. And it ended up being way more obvious that they were grapes than I thought they would be. So, it happens to the best of us, all right? We're all on the wrong side of the curve here. Yeah, every person noticed that they were grapes. Like, not a single person was like, oh yeah, those could be blueberries. Everybody noticed. So you win some, you lose some. But also, it ended up kind of working out because it was like a little bit of an engagement farm. So maybe I did it on purpose. Maybe I'm more big brain than people give me credit for. Yeah, Mole, I like that quote. Sometimes you just got to deal the hand you're dealt. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. One more question about Arrakis. So, what backtesting has been done on Arrakis? Historically, these things haven't worked in all market conditions. I don't know exactly what you mean by the latter half of that question, but maybe we could touch on, I don't know, something about Arrakis and this question.
I'll take it first. I think Funky probably has some thoughts too. That process of having around 100 grand or so live on Arrakis for a while was the backtesting that we were doing with the team specifically. It was probably more than 6 months now, where we've just been playing with Arrakis with little amounts. In that same time frame, we found that liquidity has been more sticky, i.e., like the performance of the dollar value of the LP has gone up compared to Curve, where we end up eating a ton of toxic flow. Volume has increased. Volume on that 100K pool was higher than the Curve pool, which had 4 million in it. Distribution was better with aggregators. It caught it a lot more. In terms of the strategy they're actually doing, it's not that we opted for something that's not that complicated, where we're trying to like have the tightest spread or the tightest range based on what exactly the price is. And I think what you're referring to, you could correct me if I'm wrong, is projects that try to game like these concentrated liquidity dexes by only providing liquidity in like certain places. Whereas that's not what we do. There's a lot of liquidity, like full range at all times, just like you would experience with the UniV2. And what we do is we try to optimize it to be in the the ranges of what. Yeah, like we try to optimize it in terms of what the price is, but like we're not trying to play a game here where like we're trying to make the price go up artificially or anything like that, right? Like some other tokens. You can check Arrakis and who they're partnered with, and also there's a Dune. If you want to learn more about it, did Figgy add the Dune? Yeah. So if you go to the official links channel just above this channel, and you look under liquidity, there's Arrakis there. There's a Dune there with all the different things associated with the LP now. It's a lot more comprehensive than anything we've ever done before, and I think it solves a lot of the liquidity problems. Yeah.
Cool. And Funky, I'm assuming nothing to add to that. Good. All right, cool.
Yeah, nothing for me. I'll post the Dune link. It's pretty cool.
Sweet. All right. We have 10 minutes until the hour, and I think we have covered mostly everything. I don't know if there's any last minute questions people want to squeeze in. Feel free to ask away, and then if anybody on stage like Sammy or whoever, you guys have anything you want to add towards the end of this, just feel free.
Did we talk about Lodestar?
Kind of. I basically said that we're targeting the week of the 11th for the launch.
Yeah. Cool. The only thing I'll add is like really appreciate everyone participating more in the governance discussions on the Discord now. I think like it's hard for people to like stay on top of multiple channels, but really appreciate everyone like keeping an eye out for the new forum discussions channel. If you're not already getting involved in talks there, please check it out. This protocol fee zone, we had around like 17 comments. Marionette 26. So like the forum has never been more active than it's been before, and also like really good turnouts on the snapshot vote. So the more we can keep that up, the better. Especially going into PXE launch.
Cool. Looks like we have one more question from virtual world. Jeez, hard to say. Any safeguards in place for PXE collaterals? Can you explain, I guess, what you mean by that?
Yes, there is a safeguard, and we only take the best coin. There is no second best, and it's called ETH.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just you deposit ETH to get PXE.
If you check out our Twitter virtual world, you can scroll down a bit and find the announcement with our key provider. It's called Cubist. It's the group that Eigenlayer works with, and a bunch of Anchor, a bunch of other big protocols. We were working super close with them throughout the whole development cycle on security practices and a whole bunch of things. And I don't know if you were. I thought Ark. I thought you said Cubist is shit, and then I said like the shit is a lot different than shit. But what I was saying is also it goes a bit beyond that. So we're even taking more security and safeguard steps with our multi-chain practice, where a lot of protocols will sort of give up all the effort and security that they put into the actual token itself on mainnet to optimize for liquidity on cross-chain solutions. And we are still going to be going really hard on multi-chain L2 stuff. But we're doing it in a really safe and protected way with like minting caps, burning caps, bridge caps, our own custom, not bridge solution, but wrapper solution to help solve liquidity fragmentation, bridge diversity through that wrapper. So there's protections all the way from like how the actual validation goes down, protecting against slashing, protecting the keys, all the way up to like us going multi-chain and how we handle that collateral. The docs is probably like a good place to look if you like really want to dig into it, but the TLDR is that.
Yeah, and plus, like we've been getting a lot of questions lately that are kind of about, I don't know, just about Pirex ETH in general. And one thing I want to be very clear on is that we are pre-launch right now, so we haven't released a lot of the educational materials that will go live once Pirex ETH launches. So if you feel uncertain about something right now, don't worry about it too much. We always try to answer them on these calls, but by the time launch rolls around and then the week of launch, there will be a lot more content available to you. And yeah, as like Funky said, I can't wait to be educated either. So I will educate you all. We'll release as much content as we can, and we'll fill the gaps where we can as well. So yeah, we're also doubling down on videos a little bit more, going into the pretty much the whole Dinero launch. So one of the things we want to make sure we're doing is like creating content that's relevant for as many audiences as possible. Historically, we built products that are more on the sort of long tail of DeFi, and so a lot of the people who use our products are more familiar with how some of the more sophisticated protocols within the space work. But as we expand into the Dinero launch, we are also expanding our audience. So they're going to be more like normal users who may not understand like a lot of the basics of stuff. So one, that's why it's important for you guys to understand how all of this stuff works so you can help them out when they join the Discord like you usually do. But also too, it's important that all of our external facing content reflects the needs of that new audience. So when videos soon, we'll be doing a lot of videos. So over the next several months. Cool. All right. Thanks for explanation, Team Rocks. Yeah, we're all right. We try our best. But anyways, thanks everybody for coming to hang out. We reached the hour. I think it's been a little while since we've done that. So, you know, we appreciate you guys coming to chill with us on this Friday. We'll do another one in another week and a half. And also let us know about the time, I guess. So we tried a new time this week. I don't know if it's better or worse for people. I know it's, you know, hard to cater to everybody's time zone needs, but I think we're a little bit willing to adjust as needed to make sure that the majority of people can get here. So any feedback on the new time is also appreciated. Any last second thoughts before we close this thing out? Good. All right. Well, peace, everybody.